Hi, it's Christy. Happy Sunday. Hope y'all are enjoying some coffee or something wonderful this morning. Mm. Anyway, I'm going to read you the Mark Ellamy calendar for today, and we're beginning a new cycle. So this is one eek, and that is wind. And wind can be great or not so great. So here it is. This is the day for potential of communication. I'm a communication major, so I like this one. Inspiring words can be like seeds which may take some time to root. It is a day to plant the ideas of changes, but actual effects may come sometime later. This is a day for potential of movement, a day to make a new start as the cleansing energy of the Nawal Eek blows away the dust and cobwebs from the old world. Ooh, that's exciting. We do have a lot of new things falling away from the old world. The energy behind this movement may need nurturing, some encouragement and support, possibly through inspiring words. And they say your words are either like honey or cut through like a knife. Likewise, maybe the angry words associated with eek are tempered today. A little more gentle, something which takes time to sink in. Today is the beginning of the Tresena of Ik, which may have several properties all tied together with quality of movement. This can include inspiration and communication through the movement of breath and change of state through the movement. We could also view qualities of the Tresena of Ik as a microcosm of the year Lord of Ik. Ik years are known for the sudden changes that may occur. We keep hearing about April 2nd, so let's see if there's a big change that occurs. There's changes in the solar system, the atmosphere, and the universe right now, big time. So, Carlos is going to talk a little bit more about that. So, what we're talking about is that these in turn may bring anger or upset to those who are unready or unwilling to change. We certainly have a lot of those folks around us. The strength of each, we have to stay in our high positive vibration, believing in the higher dimensions, is such that the changes cannot be avoided. They can be embraced or resisted, but we'll go ahead regardless. And we are here as light seeds and star seeds, light workers and star seeds, to help them through that transformation. And we will be here to answer any questions you all might have regarding these big changes coming soon. Of course, embracing them is really the way to proceed. This Tresena may require a degree of flexibility in order to get the most out of it. Now is the time for inspired movement and change. So that's the reading for today, and Carlos is going to expand more on this since he is the Mayan expert.
Howdy, y'all. I want to, yes, expand on this topic of one wind and something I should have talked about yesterday. I was busy talking about our little adventures in Cuatro Cienegas, and I guess I forgot to write in this book all about the Venus transit. I wrote it on one wind day because I've been studying the work of Dr. Kalaman, and he's from Sweden. He's been researching the Mayan calendar, and he kind of put it all from the European perspective, but definitely the American, North American, in this case, continent, was a little more predominant. So the Venus transit, if you were in Europe, did happen on a one wind day. You're further east. So this was a closing on 6/6/2012, June 6th of 2012. Closing of the Venus transit, Venus Quetzalcoatl Christ portal energy is a feminine aspect, goddess energy. There was a portal, and that started in 2004, also in June. So on 13 Crocodile, which would have been June 5th, 2012, we had a great ceremony for the Venus portal energy, and there was at least 100 people or so in Blanco, Texas, at a friend's orchard. It's a pretty amazing ceremony, and it was just kind of this magical time. And so today and yesterday also carried this fantastic Venus energy. Now there is an aspect about the anger stuff that I want to address. Anger is never with the other person that you're angry at. Anger is always something inside of yourself that has not been cleared out, and somebody else's action mirrors that aspect of yourself, and it makes you angry because you still are doing that also. Anyway, we're all mirrors of each other, and so I guess the way to clear the anger part is to kind of go within, feel inside of your body and your chakra systems where this anger is coming from, inside of your own self and your chakra system, and that will be a clue to where you need to kind of work on that energy. So for myself personally, I'm going through a lot of these changes and realizations, and a lot of things that I thought would be great, even with a move to another place. Turns out I still need to do a lot of work on my inner self, and I'm perfectly fine with that, you know. And if somebody else is angry at me, they need to work on that aspect in themselves as well. But what I'm talking about is that I kind of had to give up my musical ambitions. My left wrist is still sore from the end of January. I just got super stressed. All of that, and kind of put me really off kilter as far as my music ambitions. And then I met a lot of other musicians around here that were really, really masterful musicians, and I realized it's just I can't get up to that level. Or it would have been, I had to start in my 20s that good. And that was 30 something years ago. So, a little noise coming by. And so now I'm looking at my artwork. We're in this town of beautiful artwork, and most of the murals around here really match the content and color schemes and thematic character of my work. Yet I still have not really connected with the audience for the artwork down here. And I was reminded, as I was kind of thinking about all this just last night, kind of sleep thinking, not really dreaming so much, just thinking about a lot of stuff all night. And one of the things, and I'll tell you about our friend Maria Paz in a minute, one of the things that came up was, I guess I was just out of college, maybe in the later half of the 90s, and I met this channeler named Ashtara with an A on there, Ashtara. She's a pretty cool lady, and she has a little article in the Natural Awakenings magazine in Austin, and always has a lot of these little gatherings where she'll be teaching people how to do the channelings and all. letting go and all. But what she told me when we very first met, and I had a little healing, therapy. I don't like the word healing. Healing implies that you're something very diseased and needs to be put medicine on or energy and cleared out, and that's a lot of negativity. So this is kind of a negative feeling that I have even right now, thinking about letting go of something that was very important to me. And it's not that I'm going to let it go. I'm not really letting music go. I'm just got to get past this blockage and figure out what's a better use for my talent. And I believe that intuitive therapy is more of the correct terminology that I've been looking for. Ashtara, back a long, long time ago, told me that I was going to be a chiropractor. And I thought, no, I'm not going to be a chiropractor. And I was like, I guess, I was like, is there anybody else up there to talk to? It was like, wherever the channel information is coming from. And I just hadn't lived my life at that time. I was still just out of college, twittering around Austin and San Antonio and Hill Country. And then later, I guess, near that that time period, I started traveling in Mexico, went to Cuatro Ciénegas, discovered the peyote down there, and so that shifted a lot of my life. I'm glad I didn't take a lot of different paths. I'm glad I didn't stay in Los Angeles when I was younger. I'm glad I didn't. Well, I traveled around Mexico, but I didn't have a place that I wanted to choose as like a final destination I wanted to live at in Mexico. And also, I had a house there in Texas. I was like, why would I want to do something silly like give all my money to rent or buying a house? And so I just stayed home and traveled Mexico. I bought a lot of crystals and came back and sell them. But through that, I actually did learn a lot of healing techniques with the light energy of crystals and sound, as far as not necessarily my classical guitar, but other native instruments and drums and flutes and other things that would have healing qualities about them. So the idea of being some kind of a doctor or doctor of medicine I just didn't like it at all. I didn't want to be surrounded by a bunch of broken spirits or some kind of, I don't know what doctors in that area, chiropractor or whatever, do. But I wasn't really convinced that was going to be my path. But now, I don't regret putting all the energy into music and art. I think that was actually part of the process of becoming. And so I am not anywhere near this like physical doctor that's going to heal your broken knee or reduce your ulcers or take out your cancer or any of that kind of medicine. No, I'm not gonna mend your broken heart, but maybe that there's something in the chakras that I can help you. And it's an intuitive therapy. The part of what Ashtara would teach in her workshops would be with listening to the intuition and feeling another person's energy and saying, well, this is a problem in this chakra area, and you would receive the words from your guides or your angels that would help with the problem area. But I look at it's not so much a problem. I don't look at my issues as like problem that needs to be taken out or any drastic thing. It's just a blockage in the energy of the chakras. And I don't really want to advertise that I'm going to heal you of some kind of illness or something, but I will be able to feel your energy, use my pendulum and the crystals to find out what is going on in your chakras so that maybe we can prevent an illness or an injury from happening. If you are blocked of energy in a certain place, that you're going to develop a disease simply because the energy of your chakras is stuck and needs to clear out, or perhaps it's an emotional thing. I remember I helped a woman in Mount Shasta that were camping out there in little groups of people, and I met this lady, and she wanted to know, about the energies of the chakras. And I had my pendulum. I just told her to hold out her hand, and I did my pendulum, and the pendulum was at a bounce as it was going, spinning around, but there would be a bounce. I said, "Oh, you have a road speed bump in your chakras." And I said, "Hey, give me a minute." And so she was watching and healing, and I could see like a gasp, or something, and the pendulum started to swing normally. And okay, then she was and I saw her the next day after we all went to sleep and camping and come back and having breakfast, and she's crying, she's bawling, and she gives me a hug. "Thank you for healing my chakras." And so the people that were with her said that's the first emotion she's ever shown the whole time that they've been on their camping experience there. So, and then there's other times where I will be able to see what's going on through your crown chakra, and the pendulum and the crystals help me to have an energy loop where we can we're visualizing the same. I can see what's going on in your crown chakra and third eye also. And I'm feeling it in the upper heart right now, that I've got some kind of suck energy. From my friend Maria Paz, our friend told us that I needed to do some drumming to get that out, this energy that's stuck.
She's an intuitive.
She's very intuitive, and she's going to be teaching about intuitive therapy. So I'm inviting you now, if you're made it this far listening, that maybe you want to join us in our intuitive therapy sessions, workshops, and learn about how maybe you can benefit from this, or if you want to do this, maybe you feel called to be an energy practitioner as well. I think intuitive therapy is a great name for it, because we're not talking about some magical force of things, even though there is some kind of magic in the three-dimensional world. You would call it magic, but in the higher dimensions, we're definitely communicating.
There's no medical degree attached,
angels.
but there is a diploma certification.
Yeah, thank you. We both get a certification. And anyhow, that I think is a good place for us to stop. Please like, subscribe, and share. Sharing is caring. I think that's a made-up bullshit thing.
It works.
Anyhow, it would be
Ashtar
great.
says, follow us. We're looking for 1,000 followers, and then we're heading to
Look at
144,000.
this big boy. Oh my
That's
gosh.
right.
He's a big
There's
boy.
the cover picture right there. All right. Love and light. Ciao, pues.